Are you ready? Are you ready? You've been tasked to describe a place, to see a thing, describe an event from within, from without, all from a hexadecimal code, and nothing else but your mind's eye. Come take a journey with us. We are CryptoViewing.com. Today's target.
Hi, crypto fans. Dennis Nappy II here. We have a special target that our viewers have been tasked to look at, an interesting event in the near future that it would be of the utmost interest to all of us, given what's going on in the world right now. Our viewers are still blind to this target. I think they have some suspicions as what they might have seen. What is it? How does it relate to what's going on? Daz has no suspicion. I can see by the look on his face. Daz, I love your reactions when I say stuff, man. It's one of my favorite things to hear. Well, without further ado, let me give the reveal here. Let me share my screen and show the tasking document. Target Tango 3, November 5, Ocean 9, X-Ray 1. The Memorial Day Parade, New York City, New York, May 25th, 2020. We wanted the viewers to take a look at the Memorial Day Parade in New York City, just a few short months away here. A little bit of background information on what Memorial Day is and the parade, where it starts and where it ends. And that was it. Just looking at the basics of that parade and seeing, I think that would be a good marker for us, and that was I would assume the intent behind this tasking. Will life be going on as normal as it does every year on Memorial Day 2020, or will something else be happening? We want to look at what our viewers bring back and maybe give us a glimpse as to how I would think the coronavirus is going to progress in what's going on in the world right now. Any questions or comments from the viewers, or Ed, from you?
Dennis, if I could, please. Yeah, we wanted to get an idea since this virus is just lapping the world. We wanted to see, is this going to disrupt things? What, if we look at it a certain time frame, it's always a question of who or what are we going to look at?
Right.
Right. Who do we look at? Do we look at the director of FEMA? Do we look at, there were all of these different target ideas that we had. And, we looked at the parade in Hawaii. Was at the Flower Festival. We looked at that.
Yeah.
We looked at another event in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like this was a good indicator to see whether or not that virus was going to be present and potentially stop people from congregating.
So to clarify, when we're trying to determine what's the future going to look like, especially if we're curious about the coronavirus, we look at a normal planned scheduled event that happens every year where we can get good feedback on it and say, yep, that's normally what happens at the Memorial Day Parade. Seeing if that's what we're hoping the viewers are going to look at that and say, well, I'm getting a parade, I'm getting lots of people cheering, people in a good mood, people celebrating. That's what we hope to see. If we don't see that, well, then maybe there's an indication that something else is going on. And that way, our viewers are blind to it. They're not. It's not a coronavirus-based target when they go into it. They're looking at this parade. If they start bringing back corona data, then that might be another indicator that, hey, there's something going on with that.
Right. Disrupting everyday life. How does it affect? What are the emotions behind it? What are they going to see?
Right. Okay.
No intention behind it. When this was tasked, there was no intention or assumption that something was going to happen or not happen. It's just, hey guys, look, this is what's supposed to be. Is it going to happen or not?
Right.
That's
okay.
it.
Let's get to the data then. I'm curious to see. I haven't had a chance to go through all the data yet, so I'm curious to see what we're going to be looking at here. So let's switch it up a bit. Let's start with Edward for this one and see what he brings for us.
All righty. Let's take a look here. Okay, this was during my pre-session cool down, and I had to get up and write this down, and I probably could have just stopped after this. An idea as it relates to several people regarding decision making. An idea is stage 2 or 3 in a process that precipitates pre-planning. I could have just stopped there and said, there you go.
That's it.
There's your target. I want to know what was that idea? So I went on this little journey. Here. Let's get to the journey, because I was going all over the place here. I wasn't in New York at all. Obviously I'm heading for the hills, because that's where I went. I was in these mountainous areas here, and that's where I was getting pulled to. An area is under investigation. There are people going out here, here we go. People going out here or wanting to go here. There's a serious tone here. Something important. And is it finding or locating or missing a paper trail? Onboarding was happening. I'm not sure what onboarding means. Felt dangerous. Could get lost or die here. Is it somewhere in the desert? There is a strange feeling here, a hum or a buzz in this place. Something dangerous about it. Is this place, is it the place for people involved? I don't know what I'm talking about there.
You don't think these are mountains near New York City, do you?
No.
Okay, because where I live is where the New Yorkers evacuate to. So.
Oh, where are you? Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I'm in the Pocono Mountains, and like after 9/11, there was a mass exodus up to where I'm at right now.
Oh, does it kind of look like that?
Parts of it. We have more tree growth where we are.
Maybe that's what it was.
I hope not.
So I don't blame you. Okay, so then there was a water element, and there was some debris and lots of minerals and debris scattered all around in there, and with different types of metals and debris and things in the water. And then I had this desolate gas station. This was interesting. Someone stopped here like a store or gas station near an important location. Silver colors, whites and blues and tans. There's a sign there saying something like Friday or something like that. This is a stop along a journey to this target, a landmarker. How people are affected by this was a question. How people are affected by this. Area may be at or near a nuclear test range. Reminds me of a Nevada or a New Mexico. Someone stopped here. It's near a range. And that was that desolate gas station. So who knows? Maybe they're heading west. Okay, here's another something here, which, well, let's get into this here. These look like frozen icebergs or frozen water to me. Like I moved to another location. What am I looking for? I'm wondering. I feel like someone is pointing to an area, pointing something out. Like there's a vessel under there. Target feels like one big story with several plots, locations, and timelines. A structure is at this location, at or crashed, maybe sitting there. Area is cold and wet. An unfolding story is happening. Very interesting. Lot to this target. Plot thickens. Nervous feel to the place. Find and looking. I don't know what that means. And then, oh, that was interesting. What the hell's going on here? Mechanical, moving people. This felt menacing, maybe hostile, or the feeling matches hostility. Game. This is men or men's game, maybe hostile or taking something. It's serious people, surprise, mounting, full scale. Again, there was a feeling of danger here, impulse, maneuvering, staging, people affected, maneuvering, strategy, planning, focus, a brilliant plan or staged event. You may have to pull something off for stage 2 or 3. We go back to my first page. A nightingale. I'm not even sure what that means. Slow motion effect. Running up on someone. Sneak attack.
See, a lot of that data would relate to a parade. You know, stage
Yeah.
they go stage and it's all
Yep.
planned.
Yeah.
I agree.
And then, oh yeah, these people here. This might be Dick. People on a plane or professional people, intelligent, heading towards a destination, seaport location, flying there. They're nervous about something. They have prepared something, an offer, proposal. They have a plan together. They are bringing their pitch. They have designs, plans, details. They bring it to show. A design, micrology, plans, designs, ideas, the hike. We are bringing this. We have details. So who are those guys? And then, oh, this was interesting here. Oh, this is probably the most interesting part other than the first page. The idea, the plan, formulated, deals with people. Some cut out, some involved. It is an idea that hangs above people, rains down on them. Ooh, this is giving me the chills. Solves a problem, at least in their minds, like Planned Parenthood. That's ominous. Steps taken to deflect specific outcomes. If you change a setting, it will alter the immediate course of actions. Someone will not sit in a chair if the chair is removed prior to the individual's entrance. That was fucking interesting.
Can you go back to the gas station, and then above that, you look like you had sea crustaceans drawn?
This one.
Yeah. What is that?
This was a debris in water. There was this watery area, and there were debris, metal and stones, and just all kinds of stuff all over the place. And that was pretty much it. So it was just an area. There was a water area somewhere nearby.
Curious, because my water has high mineral deposits in it, and I know a gas station that looks just like that one.
Oh shit!
Right down
That
the
could
street.
also be interpreted as, go back to it. Things moving in unison in a
parade.
parallel. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could
Oh, well,
be.
that's
if you-
interesting.
Yeah.
You know, that could be the floats and the people walking in their little.
And what day of the week is Memorial Day on this year? Is it on a Friday? Let me look at the tape. Is it on the
Isn't it a month?
Here's
May
the colored
20 it's
one.
always on a Monday. Duh.
I had nice colored images in there, so it was really pretty.
Maybe though, mate. I mean, if the sign said, you said a sign said Friday, I mean, Memorial Day weekend's a big weekend.
Well, I will say I didn't get anything indicating groups of people. And given the tasking, I didn't get anything that indicates large groups of people. So what that means to me is that there's a possibility that maybe that parade will be postponed or canceled.
You didn't get New York either. It didn't feel like New York City.
No.
Why do you think that is? What's your best?
Well, my best guess is it's metaphor. The whole thing is metaphorical, and it means head for the hills. Head for the hills.
Okay.
And especially this one. This is the most David Lynchian element, which means you want to get out of Dodge before the cavalry shows up.
Yeah.
You know the cavalry's coming. Get out of there.
Yeah.
And then the cavalry will run right on past. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so if you have foresight, then you don't want to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's what the whole session meant to me.
Right.
That's what this whole thing meant to me. If you have foresight, you don't want to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. That would be stupid.
Well, that's not good for me.
Well,
puts them right in my neighborhood. If they're leaving New York, they're coming here.
Oh, well, you know, you got to just follow how you feel about that one, in my opinion, you know.
Agreed. Okay.
But
I'll take me out of it. It's hard not to, but I'll take me out of it and get back
so
to
this was really like I was watching a David Lynch movie or something. You know.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty
I'm
wild.
gonna think on that one for a while. And
that was one of those thinkers.
to our Patreons and whoever's watching this, what are your thoughts on that as we try to analyze this and interpret it? We were scheduled Edward was tasked to look at the Memorial Day Parade in New York City. He didn't get that data. Does that mean Edward was completely off? It happens, but Edward's usually pretty good, even if he's coming back with metaphors. So curious how you
metaphorical, but I definitely did not get anything indicating large groups of people.
Okay.
I didn't get any feel of large groups of people gathered together.
Okay. All right. Edward, thank you for that. Let's move over to Daz and see what he has for us.
Okay, so mine's equally as strange, I think.
Great.
I did get groups of people, but under a different scenario, I think. So we'll go through it here. Initially, I got a complex situation, and I had the word AOL of migrator because I felt like there were, people or population moving. This was an explosive situation, very dense, and I got here lots. So explosive reach and density, which is a population. Then I had a kind of feeling of a bomb there coming at the bottom. Moving to page 2, they were life. They're in a situation. They're emotional. Feels like a complex social situation. It involves many life, but it feels like it's an explosive situation. It's emotional and turns volatile. Feels like there is a central male life involved who witness to a tragedy or event. Then the third sketch here, I had an explosive situation. This feels like a key moment, a historic moment in history. It's very newsworthy, very media covered, and it has global impact. Lots of human emotional energy involved with this target, massive reach and impact, damaging waves of impact for years to come. And I drew it there, and there's an event that had social and economic kind of impact from this event. Then I had there's an energy that had human impact, and it cost lives. There's lots of panic, frustration, fear. I got the word here at the bottom, an epoch, question mark, a change, a global situation, which is life-altering. This feels like I'm watching a global community go through a traumatic set of circumstances that cause great change. They're frustrated, angry people. They're also scared. There's fighting, conflict, panic. And it's almost like they're fighting in a street. It's a real explosive situation by this kind of sketch at the bottom. And my notes here, it feels like I'm at a point whereby this could be a future set of events that go either of two ways. It flatlines and fades away, or it expands and explodes and becomes chaotic. It feels like it's bubbling at this point, but it could explode, and an explosion which is deaths and gives culture shock. But I actually think the explosion might be there's a potential it could be an explosion. Because I moved to try to sketch the target, and I just had this kind of explosion kind of feeling. And I wrote here, explosive, high energy, impacted, loud, noisy, volatile, lots of shouting and screaming, people panicking, crying in fear, people running away from an epicenter, and they're moving fast. Feels urban, it's in a city and it's spreading, there's fear, there's rumors. This feels global, it's distributed, pockets of agitation. And then, because of the situation we're going through, I had the AOL there of pandemic. And I wrote here a note at the top, and try not an AOL coronavirus for this, so I tried to reconcentrate on it. And I picked up on a male who was central to this. He was older, scared, he was under observation, and he was suspected of something. He's being watched and suspected of doing something, but not proven, but he did do it. He's scared, he's working on an exit plan, feels like this is an escape plan and it's secret. It feels like there's a political tied up into this target. political correctness. There's corporate suited men behind this, security experts and bureaucracy, which is stifling. It had a dark atmosphere, which is hard to work within or exist within. Real effort to control a single person, to manipulate a person. And then I had life on the run, worried, followed, hunted, watched by security. This feels like both current, but with a huge potential future impact. And I put here at the top, I tried to ask what was in the future, and it's something that's traumatic, and it's energy, emotion, panic, causes global problems and explosive time. This really feels like an actual explosion, and I had an AOL there of nuclear. And my final notes on this were, it's a strange target, it feels potentially deadly or damaging with global effect. Lots of fear and panicked people, an element of spying and monitoring. There's a central male life who's guilty, he's hiding this, he's being watched, he's planning an exit. There's an explosion, a global effect with far-reaching impact, and this is a near future target.
Well, I've got a lot of thoughts on that one, Daz, on how that could be the parade itself. How do you feel about it? What are your thoughts on it overall?
I think some of it could possibly be the parade. I could have AOL'd and had some, maybe the explosive stuff might be in, I don't know what happens in the parade. Maybe it's, the actions that go on and stuff like that. I don't know.
Fireworks surrounding Memorial Day celebrations usually.
Yeah, it could be that I was just, like sometimes happens, you expand and over exaggerate them. So it is possible, but there was a lot of bad feeling about it. It was a feeling like, it's something that could go normal, or it could go, or something bad could happen.
I think back, like Memorial Day as a kid, when I was younger, we'd celebrate Memorial Day and we'd think about, people from World War II, Vietnam era, people who we were kind of removed from that generation. But now on Memorial Day, you've got a lot of vets who were there. I mean, our generation, they fought in Afghanistan, they fought in Iraq, and that's a day where all those things that you described are remembered and are thought about, and it's this generation, our generation, it's our friends, our family that was there.
It's possible. It's a hard one for me on this one because for me it did feel like it felt like some kind of bomb type terrorist attack, to be honest, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It definitely went outwards, because I knew it was involving lots of people and it was in an urban area, but they didn't seem to be. No one seems to be having fun.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. And I'm intentionally playing devil's advocate here, trying to make parade connections. Yes. I am trying to do that. But it's curious. And I could go either way. We could certainly go with the data and say, hey, it does sound like this and that. I'm just thinking of people with PTSD, with veterans there at a parade. That's how I would interpret it. I'd be like, this isn't fun. This is scary. And I'm remembering all this stuff. But
it's just that all the data, is indicating there's loads of people, but no one's having fun. They're all panicked and they're all running.
At a parade, people do have fun in New York City at a Memorial Day parade. You would expect, and I think that's an important piece to point out. Daz, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Edward's got us running for the hills, and Daz has nobody having fun in an urban setting. So 2 strikes against this being a fun day so far. All right, Dick. Let's see what you have.
Okay, first of all, before I show you my session, let me inject a bit of reason. Knock it off, Ed. Look, I've been remote viewing a long time, and I worked with some good remote viewers, and one thing we always said was, all remote viewing sessions are good data, bad data, and contamination, and you have to do consensus analysis and take it down. I remember one of the first operational targets I did when 4 of our top viewers, this was 20 years ago, became an operational unit, and we were given a target, and we all charged in and did sessions, and they were all wildly different. We were like, what is this? So we did low-level analysis, and it went down in history as some of the worst remote viewing sessions ever produced. We were all half-cocked, went off on flights of imagination. But the corroborating data that came out, we had to write a report. We took this and we spent hours and we said, what are all the viewers agreeing upon? And we said, our analytical report said there are groups of people moving in unison and people watching as spectators, and somebody's throwing something. The target was the Mardi Gras parade. So what we said about it was essentially true. People moving in unison, people watching, and somebody's throwing, they throw beads and candy or something.
Right.
So what we said in our analytical product was correct, even though the remote viewing product as a whole was complete bullshit and fabrication for the most part. I think that what we had right here was just at the moment where Corona was coming out and we get a target and we all assumed, well, this is, viewers can grab imagination and they will take you on a, especially if they're expecting disaster porn. Viewers love to get that. And we were kind of expecting that. I think what we will find in this, and when I get a free moment, maybe when I get where I'm going and I'm sipping a local brew, I'll do some analysis on this and we'll find out what we said. So I think probably too much expectation from the viewers, too much front loading, and I see very little corroboration in all of our work. So I would say a great lot of this. I'm not one that believes a remote viewer will ever give you all literally a perfect story, all literally true. I've seen it happen, but okay. With that said, here's my session. I always like to, oh God.
Are we going to see
I
aliens?
really feel like I went down the little coronavirus rabbit hole on this one. The first thing I saw, I didn't see it as much as I heard it and like sensed it, is two people arguing. Big confrontation, violent, how dare you? This is unacceptable. I didn't, this is unethical. This guy's in control. He says, you have no choice, no vote, only way it can be. This guy's jabbing his finger and he's, I'm going to go public. No, you won't. He has morals and duties in his 40s. So I saw that confrontation. Okay, is this Central Park? I don't know. I didn't get big city data. I bilocated to a really nice one-lane road with that was not New York. This was prior to my session. Then I saw mushrooms. Don't laugh, Edward Reardon. I did see mushrooms. Now I had taken reishi mushrooms? Pretty nice dose, so maybe they were talking to me. Okay, now I get elderly people lined up, moving slowly, grim face, and I bilocated to this, and I saw one kind of Asian guy, like rounded up, looks like in transport buses, and they're just resigned. Acceptance, and it reminded me of a modern day version of Jews being led into trains. Okay, that was my cool down. Now the actual session. This would be good data for the visual ideogram, as your first visual impression was a lot of things in unison that are similar, all grouped. That could be the people in the parade. Similar thing, but there was something bigger.
Float.
Now I'm in land, I'm not in New York. Complex, hard, man-made, dynamic, static, natural, static. A corridor inside, quiet, beeping, medicinal. Now I go off down the Corona rabbit hole. Looks like body bags, faint medicinal smell. Things lined up. Earthy, upturned earth. No city smells, not like asphalt and whatever they used. Land, clumps, diesel engine sounds. Now there are fire trucks in the parade. All right, okay, here we go. Men in uniform. You have people in uniform marching in the parade. So this could be good data. Footsteps and voices. Sweat, metal gun smells. Heavy fabric, their uniforms. Bridge near water, rushing river, wet stone. Then back to earth, heavy diesel equipment, rotting earthy forms, mass grave, shovel sounds, equipment like a bulldozer pushing. Okay, soldiers shouting, canvas, army smells on patrol. They're not on army, guard, able, standby. Influenza, enemy empire, iron fist, tighten grip, lockdown. COVID, Corona, Oracle, crumble. I'm clearly, this is my trash can of thoughts that are coming to me. United States empire, though, that's the empire state. S3, a bulldozer, excavated pits, men in uniforms. Now that could be the guys in the parade. I could have a moment where I'm on target and a bunch of Corona fantasy. I have countryside, not New York, a burial pit with razor wire around it. I think these are body bags, chemical smell, something sprayed and treated with disinfected, like Wuhan hospital bodies. Death is heavy. This place is secure. Double perimeter fence, uniforms, harsh sounds, harsh warnings. Okay, there's the guys in uniforms. And here they are eating MREs. They're hungry, tired, dispirited. Okay, this is like a martial law scenario. But they don't seem to be wearing masks or protective gear. I thought, see, I got Corona going through my mind, but these guys aren't wearing protective masks, but they're psychologically scarred. I see a bulldozer shoving like bodies into a pit, being sprayed with some chemical. And then I had, this was done on before this had spread to Japan and Korea, white-haired Asian man, news conference, big announcement. So what do we make of this? I would say there's no real New York data in this.
Yeah.
There's very little corroboration. If we look at all the viewers, and I'm drinking a beer, sorry, I'm very stressed.
What's the date of the event?
May 25th, 2020.
Okay. Possibly then it may be cancelled. I don't know. That's what I would say.
That may be the case.
Okay, if it's not there and we were looking at why was it canceled, there was a big decision.
No,
People were, that could be. This is an interesting.
Can we look at the tasking? The tasking says the viewers to look at the Memorial Day Parade in New York City on May 25th, 2020. If that event doesn't exist, in your experience, then what would normally happen with a viewing? Can you view something that doesn't exist?
Generally, you go to the next most interesting thing that your subconscious wants to view, I guess.
Daz, did you have data about a decision, about people arguing, deciding? I can't remember. I know Ed and I both did. Didn't you have somebody?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Because if it's canceled, somebody's making the decision, and there will be some back and forth on that. Ed and I kind of had that, but it could be that this is a lot of bunk data, and we were all, some of us were on a little bit. I wouldn't count on that parade happening in.
That's my assessment.
That's like 2 months.
Yeah.
Well, if they're closing schools in the UK,
3 months. In 3 months.
well, that's why we thought it was a good target, because the way things are developing in 3 months, we should know a lot. We should know more probably in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Well, none of the viewers got New York. None of the viewers got people,
Parading.
music, da da da, happy, da da da, throwing confetti type stuff.
No. The data seems to indicate that we're not getting New York data, so I got a feeling the target may not happen. That's what the data is kind of, to me, it's looking like that we're saying that the event's not going to go through.
It's almost like a binary ARV chart, right? So you've got it, and there's no other target. So anything else is
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it is cancelled because of coronavirus as well, then it makes it logical that Dick and we might be picking up a little bit on the corona thing, because that would be the cause of it being cancelled.
Absolutely. Okay. Oh, I had a brilliant thought and I lost it. Sorry. I fucking totally spaced it out.
It's strange, you see, because we're not usually all off.
No, that's it. You're not all off, but again, I think we've been under some emotional duress over
Yes.
Corona.
Yes.
And I'm curious, Daz, you've done a lot of research. Obviously, we all have with remote viewing. Have you guys ever had an experience like this where you're so emotionally involved in a world event that there's a possibility you might have to view that event or things related to that event?
You're supposed to be kept and tasked in a way that is not, I mean, ideally, that's not
An option.
and not an issue.
Right.
And it shouldn't have been. We were just said, here's a target. Can you guys look at it?
Right, but even you said, I mean, normally we get a crypto target. We do get these random targets. That's a regular thing that we get. This could have been anything. But I mean, did you guys think maybe this might be coronavirus related when you were going into the session? I'm really playing devil's advocate hard.
I'm not sure I got to. I did get hints of coronavirus, but mine was not really coronavirus. It was more of some kind of weird explosion-y type thing.
Yeah. So if it's an event that's not going to happen, where do you go?
Yeah, where does your consciousness go?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my session was just basically an idea
See,
of making a decision. And
see, I would have more confidence if the target queue was, what's the parade route? Fifth Avenue, New York, Fifth Avenue, New York City, this date. And if we all drew New York with empty streets, that would carry more weight. Nobody got, here's New York, but there's no, I mean, New York is a remote viewer ought to be able to get some data on that.
But because the task was for the parade itself, that may have sent your guys all over the place.
I don't want to blame the tasker, because remote viewers always can find something in the task and go, I could remote view that, but
that wasn't my intention to blame the tasker.
No, but yeah, I would say ideally that we could say, this is New York, this is Fifth Avenue, and there's not much going on, or if the parade doesn't go on, there's going to be something else that it won't be life as normal and no parade.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not going to be people out shopping. If they could go do normal activities, they'd have the parade. Well, we'll know in 3 months. This is an interesting one. I think it would be worth looking at the data and see on the very lowest level. I saw that Edward and I corroborated on a decision being made.
Right.
And that was what you felt was most important when you gave your data, right, Edward?
Yeah.
You said, I could just stop right there. They're making a decision.
They're making a decision.
So the decision
and then
is
the last page was what's the decision is whether or not to be in a location at a certain time. Because if you don't put that chair in that room, then in the future, that person can't go in there and sit in it. So you're making a decision on where to be in a future time.
Yeah, that was kind of eerie when I put my session in and I saw that argument, and I looked at yours and you said, a decision. That's what. So maybe that's why I want to look through Daz's session too some more. If that corroborated out, that the answer could be that easy. It's like, hey, they made a decision not to do it. And your subconscious said, no, they decided not to do it. Here's what else you need to know. Here's where,
Head for the hills and get on that plane.
Yeah. So
interesting.
Not as simple, not as elegant as our Hammurabi sessions.
And
we were given a blind target and we all went to the past and all got a king carving laws in stone. which was exactly the target. It was elegant. It was beautiful. We were all on.
And that's because it's a
there's
past target, isn't it?
Yeah, it was
Pardon
past
me?
already happened.
Yeah, it's a past target. They're always easier than future targets.
Oh yeah, that's the point I was going to make. Is if the future, from our perspective, is a forming field, it's like all the elements are going to coalesce into this future, and it can be variable. At this point, we might be looking at, well, as of right now, there's not going to be a parade, and that could change.
Mm-hmm.
That it's 90 days out, and some things can affect that.
They may be in the planning process right now, wondering whether or not they're actually going to go through with it.
Yeah, because they're
Watching the
doing.
news.
I do know they're doing the same thing with the Olympics.
Tokyo Olympics, yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of thinking it's going to go ahead, but they're kind of like hedging their bets at the moment.
Curious.
In Japan,
Especially
they're
like in
playing
New York.
baseball games in empty stadiums.
Yeah,
They want to keep the game going, and then they televise it, but nobody's allowed there.
nobody's there.
They could still run the 100-yard in those suits, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think they have a game show where they do that.
Yeah.
Those are those big fat samurai suits,
Yeah,
sumo wrestler suits.
sumo suits. Yep.
That was yeah, okay. I had a really funny thing, but this is family friendly. I won't say it. Like, when you talk about front loading and you say, can you just ignore it? Like, okay, don't think about the most outrageous thing you've ever seen in a Japanese pornographic movie. Like, don't think about that. That's one that Roger will have fun. Don't think of a pink elephant. Don't think of, it's when times are this turbulent. You got a great look on your face, Ed. Florida.
Must have been one heck of a movie.
What are you thinking about?
Was Godzilla in it?
Yeah. But yeah, it's hard to set all this aside. It's a very turbulent time. It's a tough time to be a remote viewer.
Yeah. I mean, we've been through the SARS thing. I think 800, 900 people dead. I mean, this is like something out of a movie. So I've never experienced anything like this. So we're in some new territory here. So
It's a bioweapon. Got out one way or the other. So I would urge people to watch our Hammurabi's code. That's some real, you can eat a bowl of popcorn and see these guys are really good remote viewers, and they all agree, and it all matches the target.
and
it
when
was
is
done
that?
blind.
When is that?
Huh?
That'll be out March 1st.
March 1st for all the Patreon, but some people have gotten a sneak peek.
Yeah, we've let our founders and visionaries, we published that on Tuesday, so they got a little ahead of everyone else. And the feedback has just been extraordinary.
Dennis Nappy, did you work this target? Did you get a parade? Did you get anything similar to ours?
Did I? No, I didn't. I didn't work this one. I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
So,
I didn't see it come across. I had a crazy week.
We've all had a crazy week.
I know.
You
So,
guys did great work as usual. It's just we'll see how interesting and how this all develops. That's it.
I think there's significance to the fact that I think it's corroborating the fact that you all had something different. I think that's a significant data point. I don't think that's an indication that you guys were off. I think it means you're on to something. We just don't know how to interpret that yet.
Yeah.
Well, we'll know in a couple of months. We'll have a better idea.
yeah. Well,
I'll probably know before that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many instances of, oh, I got that too, and
Yeah.
we didn't see that too much of that here.
Yeah.
So,
Because usually
interesting
we do
target.
targets like
That's a good way to look ahead to the future. That's a good use of it. But
but looking at the past, when we've looked at targets like this and the way the team's been trained, you all hit the target, but you all get different points in time of that target.
Yeah, or different observational points.
Yeah, and this one we didn't. We didn't. Not that we can tell yet, anyway. So, okay. Well, I'm sure we could hash this out with what ifs and whatevers for the next hour or two. But anybody else have anything to add onto this one? No. Okay.
We'll
Ed,
watch
anything
and
from
see
you?
if it-
No, like I said, I think you guys did great work as always. And the one thing that I know from looking at all these for the last 2 years, I trust you guys. I trust the data. Even if we're all trying to make sense of it in some way, the data's good. I truly believe the data's good, and it will start to make sense at some point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, a lot of our stuff from the past, we were scratching our head at the time when we did that Death of the Dollar, and Edward drew this funny little microorganism, you know. If Donald Trump has anything to say of it as president, he will have that damn parade. I mean, it's going to take something pretty big to have him allow that to be canceled. It's Memorial Day. He's, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be a big argument.
yeah, but it may not take that much. If they're closing all sorts of public gatherings,
Yeah.
3 months out, we'll see how this all progresses.
Yeah.
Maybe a very different place. I sure as hell know I would want to be out there. Even if they said, yeah,
man.
come to the parade. I'm good. Thank you. I'll stay home. I'll watch it on TV.
I wouldn't go no matter
For the
what.
hills.
So. Yeah. Okay. Well, look, excellent. I think it was an excellent dialogue tonight, everybody. Great data. It was definitely interesting. This experiment that we're doing here with remote viewing. I mean, it's a new journey every week. To whoever's watching this, what are your thoughts? How you interpret this data? What do you think? Help us out here. We'd love your feedback on what you think this means. So that's going to do it for this one. As we're looking at, are we going to have a Memorial Day parade, or is coronavirus going to drastically change our society over the next couple of months? I guess time will tell. So on behalf of Daz, Edward, Ed, Dick, and the rest of the Crypto Viewing team, I'm Dennis Nappy II. Thanks for watching.